Good evening. Let's call the meeting to order and please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Welcome to the City Council meeting, folks. We have a bit of an unusual one tonight. We certainly take care of city business, but I know we're going to be joined by some special musicians that Bonnie will address later on, and we welcome them. But let's look for the adoption of the agenda first. Motion number one.
Roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry, roll call time. Yep. Thank you.
Mayor King.
Present.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Here.
Councilmember Baskin. Fisher.
Present.
Pashusta.
Present.
Kelly.
Present.
Postma.
Present.
Baker.
Right here.
We have a quorum, Your
You do that
Honor.
again, Tom?
That was the parking, Councilman.
That's never happened before. No parking spots out there. Jason is recognized as here. Now I'll look for motion for item number one, the adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approving of the minutes, motion for item number two.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under recognitions and awards, we have the Minnesota Orchestra Common Chords will be here. Bonnie, would you like to set this table on this?
Sure.
Sure.
They're
hiding?
They came down, the Minnesota Orchestra members of the quintet, which Tom got right, 5 people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you don't know the talents of your finance director. They're just, they had rehearsal today. The full Minnesota Orchestra had rehearsal in Minneapolis and then had to get in the car, and they're in 2 separate cars. And the first car is here. The director came down and saw where they'll be. And then when they come in, we can start. But just as an intro, this is 6 years in the making. We started this project in 2017, and then and had it all set up, posters made, tickets selling, and COVID came. And so we had to, postpone it. And now 3 years later, we're having the Common Chords, Austin, Minnesota. The Minnesota Orchestra coming to Austin, Minnesota. So we're so pleased. And I'd like you to meet the reason these other 3 women, please stand up in black, wearing the Minnesota Orchestra sweatshirts. They're the steering team, an absolutely amazing team. Please give them a hand. Everybody who's here with the Common Chords, please stand. The community members and steering committee for Common Chords, please stand up so you can see who's been working on the project. Stand up, there you go. Thank you for coming. Other announcements, but we'll wait till the members come. And then, so can they just do it when we see them?
Sure. We'll plug them in as soon as we see them.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yep, you bet. Thanks, Bonnie. We also have a retirement, Alice Hansen. She's been a librarian for quite a bit. Alice, in appreciation of Alice Hansen for service to the city of Austin from June 23rd, 1992 to April 19th, 2023 at the Austin Public Library. Respectfully presented by the Austin City Council and Mayor Steve King. And I know that Julie will accept it on her behalf, but this is a woman who wants no fanfare. She didn't even want pizza for lunch, so she is just exiting very quietly. But if you could give this to Alice and thank her for her years of service, Julie. Thank you.
Is she the last one who would have worked at the old building?
I think so. I don't think we have anybody else right now that wants to do it.
The end of an era.
Definitely, yeah, Alice was great, so I will make sure she gets that, thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Also under recognitions and award, we have a proclamation for the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I will read it. Whereas the month of May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, dedicated to recognize and celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander history, culture, and contributions to our society. And whereas Asian American and Pacific Islander communities are deeply rooted in the history of the United States and make our nation more vibrant through diversity of cultures, languages, and religions. It is vital to recognize this community in Austin because they have influenced our past and helped shape our present. And whereas we honor the roles of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have played in the rich diversity, accomplishments, and leadership they brought to Austin. We celebrate the valuable contributions to our local economy as well as our culture as we continue to be supportive, inclusive, and an equitable community which fully embraces all individuals of Asian descent. And whereas we celebrate Asian and American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month to ensure that the cultures, histories, and stories of this community are seen and heard. And further, the City of Austin is proud to honor the history and contributions of Asian American and Pacific Islander individuals in our community throughout our state and our nation. Now therefore, I, Stephen M. King, Mayor of the City of Austin, Minnesota, hereby recognize and proclaim May 2023 as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I believe Vicki Spahalski, the chair of the Human Rights Commission, would like to maybe say a few words too, and certainly accept the proclamation.
I'd ask all the commissioners to come up.
You're pulling double duty tonight.
I'm so short. All right, thank you, Mayor King, for bringing attention to Asian American Pacific Islander Month and the contributions of our community members who do embody those communities. And what a coincidence that I saw you earlier today for the grand opening of the new Morning Star Adult Daycare Center, which is opened by some Karenni refugee community members today. They opened, and that is a service that will serve our diverse community members with and their seniors with health services, social services, and adult enrichment activities. Yes, thank you for the recognition. And if anyone is interested, you can follow our Austin Human Rights Commission Facebook for updates and different spotlights on the contributions of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in our community.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fran. Vicki, thank you. Thank you, folks. And also, finally, in the recognitions and awards section, until we get the orchestra here, fire department has a promotion and part-time, paid part-time went to full-time. So we welcome Josh Coonsey as our new commander for AFD and Matt Wise as full-time staff. And I met these two gentlemen at the mayor for the day, and they were very accommodating to my little buddy, my little mini mayor, that day. So at that point, we realized that, you know, we just certainly do some recognitions of new police officers, and we do need to recognize our fire department equally. So this is something that we haven't done, but we have to start doing, and we'll do this on a more regular basis. So congratulations, Josh, and welcome to full-time work, Matt. And Chief, do you want to say anything or introduce the new folks here?
Yeah, we didn't want to introduce you to them until we knew we were keeping them.
Okay, good call.
For the last 2 months, they've filled their roles perfectly, and I expect it to continue until they retire. We've hired two great gentlemen to serve in these roles. They're outstanding in the community, and they're outstanding on the fire department. I'm blessed to be able to work with them.
Excellent. Thanks, Chief. Josh, Matt, you want to say a few words? Like 20 minutes worth?
Thank you guys, Mayor, Council. It's absolutely an honor and privilege to stand before you guys. I was paging through a little bit of the history of the fire department, and to see the names like your dad and to be associated with those guys and do this job, it's not really a job. So, just a pleasure, and I look forward to serving this community for a very long time.
I appreciate that, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to transition from part-time to full-time. It's been a long road getting here. It goes back to Councilman Baker for my start here in Austin and so forth. But it's my adopted hometown. My kids call it home, so it's my hometown. I just look forward to many years going back to the community. And just the history of the department and everything, and getting assigned the old desk that all the other, your father has signed, and all the other guys for the last 100 years have signed. So it's an honor to be part of the city in this way.
Excellent, really a special place. And Matt, City of Austin stole you from the hospital, is that right?
That's correct, yep.
Yeah, well, that's good. We like to steal people once in a while, the good ones. So.
I think Guru Talent, is that the?
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks, folks, and congratulations on your promotion, Josh and Matt. Welcome to the full-time work, and appreciate all the words and the continued history of Austin Fire Department. It was a special place to me, and still is, no doubt. So, thank you, gentlemen. Moving on to the item number 4 is a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Still not here, Bonnie? We here? I'm gonna say no to that. Not ready? Okay.
Once you hear the scale.
Yeah, they'll know they're ready. Move on to item number 5 is a resolution under a public hearing for reviewing the proposed tax increment financing district for the first and third apartment project. Who would like to, Tom?
So today we have the public hearing for the creation of our new tax increment financing district, number 17. This is for the affordable housing project that we're looking at on the east side of the post office. Susan is here from Three Rivers Community Action, and Taggart is here from the HRA who's running the project. But the city needs to approve the tax increment plan if we can to get this project to go forward, because without the tax increment help, this project probably would not get moving at all. The TIF plan has been created with help from Baker Tilly, our finance advisors, and Dorsey Whitney, our bond attorneys. And we're proposing affordable housing district, which would generate just over $1.2 million of tax increment over a 25-year duration. Those dollars in future agreements with us and Three Rivers and the limited partner would include the city retaining the tax increments as they come back to help pay off loans that we would propose to advance to the project in order to help it get funding or help it to get built also. With that being said, I'd ask Taggart or Susan if you have any comments. Certainly come on up and fire away. And we would, if approved tonight, we would not file this with the state or the county until we're sure that everything's ready to go for the project. So by approving it tonight, we'll hold it. If approved tonight, we'll hold it until at such time we're confident the project can go forward with all the financing. But again, it is a public hearing, but if you have anything to say, otherwise. If there's any questions.
Council, any questions?
Do we know what the timeline is on this yet, or any timeline on it yet? Just to prove this and then move forward?
Yep, we have reimbursement resolutions in place, ready to go from Dorsey and Whitney. We have the first draft of the redevelopment agreement between us and Three Rivers that is in the review process right now. We have some minor changes that we have to work through, but the main issue is going to be the HRA. They own the land, but they have some project costs that they're taking care of right now in order to get the land ready to build on. So I think at this point in time, we're kind of waiting for that process to make its way through, along with the redevelopment agreement that Dorsey and Whitney is working on with their attorneys.
Thank you.
So we're close to just, we gotta get the TIF agreement first, because in order to capture costs, you have to have the TIF agreement done. So we want to get that done so that we have the ability then to capture costs going forward for future TIF reimbursement.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Anybody here from the public wish to speak on this matter? It is a public hearing. If not, looking for resolution for item number 5.
So moved.
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Absolutely.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Excellent, thank you. Bonnie, are we ready?
I think so,
So-
yes.
Let's take a pause and welcome the Minnesota Orchestra to Austin. Thank you, at least the quintet of the brass section, right?
Yes, let's welcome them, the Minnesota Orchestra. I wanted you to know that you're about to hear 5 of the finest musicians in the nation. It's wonderful, wonderful, and we're so pleased and proud that you're here in Austin. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think so. I think so.
We want to thank the mayor for holding this. And gentlemen, I want you to know that one of you may be sitting by Councilmember Mike Postma. He plays trombone in the Austin Symphony. You two will be seeing one another again. Awesome.
Absolutely.
I play the radio.
I know. Very impressive.
Yes, yes.
Any of you in the audience, if you want schedule for the week, these people and two other groups, ensembles from the Minnesota Orchestra, will be popping up all along the Band Museum, spots, and so if you make one of the schedules, there you go. And there's one more thing, I don't know why I'm having trouble thinking what it is, but you guys are involved with it, and it has something to do with one of the council members.
I think we found our council member, yeah.
I feel very special.
So, here we go.
Just for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. I really appreciate it. That made our meeting so special. Thanks for having, Joyce was a good-natured about it. I appreciate it. Have a great week in Austin. At your, bombing some places. I think next you go to the Gravity Storm, which I wish I could come with you right now.
I make a motion, we move the meeting. No.
Well, thank you for coming down to Austin. Appreciate it. Let's just end it. All right. Happy birthday, Joyce.
Thanks.
Under petitions and requests, we have item number 6 is the I-90 noise barrier discussion. Stephen.
Following the last work session, we put a vote out to the neighborhood, narrowing it down to 11 property owners that the request was submitted to, inquiring if they would support a project that was funded 90% state, 5% local, and 5% through assessments to those 11 property owners. Votes came back. Voting summary based on that cost breakdown was 7 yeses, 3 noes, and 1 abstain, who did not hear back from, for the total of 11 property owners. Council for any discussion questions.
Some questions. We've talked about this for some weeks, or if not a couple months. Questions from Mr. Long? Discussion.
I would move that we move to approve this barrier agreement in this 90%, 5%, 5% arrangement.
Second.
So I have a question. Where is the city's 5% coming from?
We would propose at this point in time to add it to next year's tax levy, so we have it in place for that time period. So it'd be whatever the council decides on, we would add, in essence, funding for $50,000 for the project, and then we would set those dollars aside through the tax levy for the year it is then constructed. That's what I would propose.
That'd be about 0.5%.
0.5% is about $40,000, so slightly over that, yes.
Okay. Any other discussion, council?
Yes, my other question would be, what, if anything, distinguishes this neighborhood from other similar neighborhoods along I-90? Are we prepared to offer the same deal to additional neighborhoods that come forward seeking sound protection?
That was my question was, do we start at West Oakland and go to the airport exit? Because we're gonna have a lot of conversation.
The part about this neighborhood relative to others, early on when we first started this discussion, I proposed a couple other neighborhoods that were similar in nature, meaning that the neighborhood or the homes adjacent to the interstate are at about the same level as the interstate. In other parts, whereas the interstate meanders through the community, anytime the interstate is above or below, there are buffers in the noise that decrease the level. So when looking at this specific neighborhood, there are probably 2 or 3 other neighborhoods similar to this one that may come forward like this group has, asking for assistance with a project like this.
So you're saying similar in that the housing is on the same level as I-90, the same elevation? Certainly, there's more than 2 or 3 that have any noise disruption, but there are 2 or 3 that you would say are very similar.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Laura, I think for me, there's 4 things that kind of differentiate this project, or at least as we think about kind of what precedent are we setting. One is we're doing a bridge project, which kind of was the origin of this conversation. You know, I think there's been probably a desire for it for many years, but the fact that we're going to be ripping up and doing a substantial amount of construction. I think 2 is we've got the data to show that it's a material impact and a material benefit to these residences. And, you know, I think that there's enough science that's there that we can feel good about it. 3 is I think there's 90% state funding. I don't know that $1 million project that the city funds 100% is probably the right thing to do for taxpayers, but if we can protect property values with 90% of that coming from the state, and residents do have skin in the game to the tune of several $1,000s of assessments, I think that's a good enough kind of 3 or 4 point plan that if other neighborhoods come forward and are we doing major construction already? Do we have 90% of it funded? Does the noise study say, yes, this makes the change, and are you willing to put money in? Then I'd probably be supportive of doing other neighborhoods.
How many letters were mailed out, Stephen?
This most recent round, there were 11 letters.
Before that?
Before that, I think we had 21 originally that were mailed out to the residents.
And 7 of 21 want yes. You're saying yes.
No, because we narrowed it
7 of
down to
11.
the 11, and we wanted 7 of the 11 to say yes. We didn't
The
give
original,
the rest of them the option.
the original 21 was mailed out at a 90-10 cost share, and there was less than 7 yeses at that cost share. Now we narrowed it down to the 95 and 5 pots of money and only sent it to these 11 property owners.
Go ahead.
I guess for me, you know, I've thought a lot about this. I really appreciate all the work that Stephen's put into this. I know he has a lot of projects going on. I'm of the opinion, I think this is good for the neighborhood. And I'm excited that it might go through for them, but I don't feel it's appropriate to use city funds to pay for this. I just think it benefits too few homes. I'm not really worried about protecting property value. This is not a neighborhood where we're worried that it's going to turn into a level where those homes would not be habitable. They're nice homes. It's a nice neighborhood. I really struggle, you know, the city has participated. I think we spent, was it around $10,000, Stephen, on the noise study? So we have participated. This is gonna put us in for another 45 or 50. So now we're getting up to 0.75% of a tax levy increase already. And I do feel that there are other neighborhoods, because I've heard from them, that are going to come forward, very likely, if this goes through. And so for that reason, I am not in favor of the 5% city share.
I think you all know I'm a fan of this project. I think it's a good deal for the residents, and I think we can't lose sight of the fact that they face a real problem, and we are their only solution. And I don't really think we should consider the values of the property. We're here to help people without regard to who they are, whether they're retired cops or retired nurses, people that are first-generation Americans. I don't care. I think this is a good deal. It's a fair deal for all, and I think I would congratulate the group of 11 families that are really impacted. Stephen and you've done some good work. I think we got a number that says these people want our support. So that's all I got.
I would like to comment that I have, well, first I want to say I understand that when we're talking about this issue, it seems like we're just talking about a property, we're just talking about 4 walls, we're talking about a cost estimate on your tax statement, and that's not what it really is. It's really your home. I get that we're talking about your home and that it's extremely important to you that your home remain a place where you want to be and can be a comfortable place which it was when you first moved there. I understand that. I have heard from the public on this. There is some support for the city share, but it's running about 80% saying, no, that's not how we fund these projects when it's a sidewalk going by my house and so forth. And I've also heard from the public that, well, 90% is coming from MnDOT. That is from the community. That is from taxpayers. There already is a community share put in. So I just wanted to share that that's what's going to inform my vote.
You know, and I've heard from a lot of people as well, beyond Facebook and other social medias, and I haven't heard anybody that said this isn't a good deal for the city and the residents. So reasonable people can disagree, but I think we got to move forward with this.
Craig, do you have something?
Yeah, Mr. Dankert, can you share how we would proceed with waivers of objection on the project, what you'd foresee as far as that's concerned, and how potentially the 3 objectors would play into that?
Well, I might need Mr. Byram's help on this, but if this is going to be assessed in a similar process as we've done with street projects, we would assess all the properties, and we do that on an upfront basis now, and I believe the assessment process would require those that don't want to pay for it would have to actually file in district court in order to stop that process or stop their payment there going forward. I mean, I personally would envision that these 7 properties would at least sign some sort of agreement like we had in Lansing, that they agree to pay the project. And granted, it's 2 years out, maybe a not to exceed number, et cetera, such that we then have the assurance that those dollars are there. In case, you know, if somebody sells their house and moves, that's still considered a pending lien. If we get a call from a realtor or a real estate agent saying, are there any assessments on this project, we count that as a pending lien, so any purchaser knows what's going on out there. But that's just my vision of how we would handle this, and I think there might be some disagreements how we would do that, but that's how I envision ensuring the city's portion gets assessed.
Anything to add, Mr. Byram?
I think Mr. Dankert has correctly articulated what those options are. In a perfect world, you would want all of the impacted owners to upfront agree that this is a reasonable assessment and waive their rights to challenge that in any court, just so that you know for certain that those dollars are there, because you are going to be going out and taking a risk by spending the money in the event there's a court challenge. Now, court challenges are extremely rare to happen, but there's provisions in the law that allow them. And that is always a risk when you move forward with these projects, whether it's a street or a sidewalk or a sound wall or any project you're going to use assessments for. There's opportunities for landowners to challenge the methodology and the way you've arrived at their figure. And so anyone who hasn't signed a waiver represents a risk to the city in moving forward.
I would also envision it would be not to exceed. Here's the price we're saying it's going to be. It won't exceed. If the project comes in under, we wouldn't assess them that full amount. We'd assess them under. Now, if the project, let's say we get the bids and it comes in way over, let's say it's a $2 million project versus $1 million, then council's got a dilemma because those assessment agreements say, hey, we're only going to pay X. Council could then, I suppose, axe the bids. Now, we're not doing this project, but I guess that's up for council in a year or two when the project's bid out.
So, yeah, I just think it's important if we're gonna stick with the apportionment, then how we ensure at the end of the day that that's being abided by. So those agreements would be very helpful to that end if council's amenable to that.
I just want to say that I think as a city, we are already invested in this project with time and money. The money spent to do the research on it. And it does, like Jason said, it does meet some kind of different criteria at this time with the new bridge coming in and the funding that we did get from MnDOT. In the future, yes, I don't think we'd ever turn anything down without doing kind of a case-by-case basis on something like this, whether it's a wall or something in the flood zone or, so I am for the 95.5 project.
Any further discussion, council? All I can say is folks that are living in the neighborhood and here witnessing this tonight, this is just a perfect example of local government. It's obviously going to be a split decision. Your representatives matter. Who you elect obviously have weighed in. There's strong feelings up here apparently on both sides of this. I don't know that it's, we may or may not hear down the road of this may set a precedent that council is going to have to deal with again. May not, we don't know. But I think it's just a perfect example of how this kind of discussion and these kind of topics can be unwrapped and hopefully put to bed in the end. And as the council votes will soon be coming in, we leave tonight, council votes as one. So just want to leave it there, but this is just a great example of kind of the process. So we have a motion and a second to approve the 5% city cost share on this. Tom, take a roll call, please.
So an aye vote is in favor of such. Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Nay.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Nay.
Postma.
Nay.
Baker.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-3, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tom. Moving on to item number 7 is a resolution affirming participation in the Office of the State Auditor's Voluntary 2023 Performance Measurement Program. Tom.
Annually, the state of Minnesota has a pool of dollars that they allocate out to cities as additional local government aid if they want to participate in a voluntary performance measurements program. So what we do is we set up a SurveyMonkey survey for citizens to log into and just rate 10 performance measures. How is our library doing? How is the streets, et cetera. So we'd request council pass this resolution so we can start that process. And this equates to about $4,000 of additional local government aid, which is, we take any penny we can get. So we'd request council's approval of such resolution.
So moved. Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thanks, Tom. Item number 8 is a resolution approving an off-site gambling license for the American Legion Post 91 at the Moore County Fair. Need a resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thanks, Tom. Item number 9 is a resolution approving a bid for pavement striping with Sir Lions-A-Lot. Stephen?
Greatest bidder name.
I know, isn't that great?
of the year.
Best name ever.
We have found that this is a very cost-effective and timely way of striping our mainline streets. Prices have gone up over the recent years, and this is our third contractor that we've had in recent times. The quote proposal from Sir Lions-A-Lot was $13,403.20 to stripe our entire community. They come in one day and have it all completed. And with that, we note there items in addition to this work that will be completed by our sign and traffic staff include all of our street signage still, along with crosswalks, turn arrows, bike symbols, parking lots, and any yellow curb in the downtown area. So there's still a great deal of work outside of this that is completed by our existing staff. We would recommend approving this contract with Sir Lions-A-Lot.
I'm guessing.
Is the difference in in the bids, so it's a vast difference? Is it because they're coming in one day?
Between the first bidder and second bidder, the difference is likely just timing and workload is typically what we hear. Another contractor looks at it differently is usually just where it fits in their schedule and other work that they already have planned for.
I think they just narrowly outbid the Sir Lines once in a while. Sir Lines a lot.
Exactly.
Beat them out.
Exactly.
It was
They
close.
like big bids and they cannot lie.
Oh, this started ugly and it's getting worse. All right, so council, any questions of Mr. Lang on Sir Lines a lot? Looking for resolution, please.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thomas?
Get in on this.
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
I can't believe you said that.
You've known me long enough, you can't believe it.
Councilmember Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tom. Item number 10 is a resolution approving a contract with Fox Electric for Riverside lighting upgrade. Stephen?
Yeah, continuing our conversation from the last work session when we talked about the cost savings that we've seen from LED streetlights. Here is a project in front of you tonight for updating lighting inside Riverside Arena, upgrading it to LED. Some would be new fixtures and some would be retrofit of the existing fixtures. The city would order some of the fixtures directly from Dakota Supply Group. Those would be the lighting fixtures over the rink, where there are certain standards for what sort of light quality is required based on our Bruins team that we have there and the level of play that they play at. So we've spec'd out and we'll purchase ahead of time certain lights for that. Then installation of those lights, as well as providing fixtures for the remaining lights within the facility, whether that be restrooms, locker rooms, hallways, common areas. Fox Electric was the low contractor to do all of that additional work. So we would recommend awarding this contract to Fox Electric for the installation of LED lighting at Riverside Arena.
Council, any questions?
Stephen, where's the money coming from?
We currently have it budgeted in our CIP, $100,000 budget, and in total, all of this adds up to $65,500.
Thank you.
35.
Excellent.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tom. On to citizens addressing the council. Anyone here in the audience wishing to speak to council on things that weren't on the agenda? Mr. Giorgino, please step to the microphone. Or the name and address, please.
Good evening. Tim Sargine, Austin, Minnesota. I don't know if it's working or not. With rapidly changing laws to the positive for medical cannabis patients, it passed the legislature to the House, and with the promise of the governor to be signing it shortly, we're going to have product probably on the shelf by June 1st. And as the chief can attest to, there are at least one, if not more, new stores in town. And with the ambiguity of the laws, I'm requesting that the Southern Minnesota Task Force reconvene, because I was told, unless there was something special that needed to, that it had been disbanded. And with the rapidly changing rules and people's money, career, and health at risk, I think I'm formally requesting that we reconvene or have a special meeting so that we can get a synopsis of what really is going on here. And is it possible to get a vote, since it's not a unanimous?
Yeah, council cannot vote on a private or another public entities,
Sure.
whether they meet or not. So thank you for your comments, Tim. I really
You
appreciate
being
it.
the head of the task force.
No, I'm not.
You,
The chair of the
not
task
anymore?
force. I haven't been the chair of that for several years.
So so after it disbanded, what has replaced it?
I don't know, Tim. This isn't a city council matter, and the chair of when we had a drug task force was Bonnie Reitz, was not me. So thank you for your comments, Tim. We're going to not address that tonight because it's not in our, it's not in our purview. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other citizens here wishing to address the council, the items that were on the agenda? Saville, please name and address, please, for the record.
Thank you. Saville Lord, 705 11th Avenue Northwest. I just wanted to let you all know, I saw that you approved the Cedar River Farmers Market application for an event for this coming summer. And I did want, since the city has been a firm supporter of the Cedar River Farmers Market, let you know that the Farmers Market has changed its date from Thursday to Fridays for this coming summer. It will be from 4 until 7. On Fridays, and we will be including a lot of different food activities. So we'll be doing some food demonstrations, some healthy eating programming, some also mental health programming as well. And so since you all have been good supporters of the farmers market, we wanted to make sure that you knew about that. We tried it on Thursday. The numbers were really down. It's important for the success of the vendors that people show up. It looks like Friday was a better day for people to show up, since Saturdays were a day when a lot of market people go to different places. So just wanted to bring you up to date with what was going on with the farmers market. It is going forward. Moving to Fridays will be June 2nd through August 25th. Thank you.
And Saville, while you're here, thanks for the update, but at pie in the sky, dream big, what would make that farmers market robust for a city that calls ourselves Food City? And that's kind of going to be our tagline or some things moving forward. What would make that farmers market be robust that the city can help with?
2 items. We have applications out. We have about 10 applicants back that have been approved for serving or for hosting items at the market. So continued focus on produce and different vendors to showcase their items, and then just continuing to market it so that people come in. We are working on getting it SNAP eligible, but I think that's going to be more through the county than through the city, but really just marketing it like crazy, because if we don't have people down there, then it's really hard for the vendors to make money, and then they don't want to come back. So it's really a community effort to make it successful. Does that answer your question?
Was there anything in 2022 that drove attendance that you were able to measure?
Not really, not really. The date, just Thursdays, was not ideal. And we saw our numbers probably drop by about a third. So that made a huge impact on the vendors themselves. Some have chosen to try again with us since we've moved it back to Fridays, but some are just like, no. And that is a shame, but it is the cost of, trying to figure out something new and growing something important for the community.
I appreciate your continued efforts. That's great. Thanks, Saville. Thank you. Honorary council member comments.
Yeah, I actually do have some this evening. First, thank you for the proclamation at the beginning of the meeting for the Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I think this is a great opportunity for us all to take a moment and challenge, listen, learn, advocate, and amplify their voices. Next, I have the privilege of being a Parenting Resource Center board member, and we have an open house tomorrow, and I laid a flyer on each of your desks, and so I'd love you to come out and see our great new space. We do have a wonderful meeting space that is available to rent as well. I see that Elaine is in the audience tonight. I've also had the privilege of being in Leadership Austin this year. And looking around this room, I see media, the arts, those that nourish our mind, keep us safe, elected officials. It has been an absolutely amazing experience to integrate into this community. And so if you do have the opportunity to look into that program and make recommendations, I would definitely do that. And finally, Friday and Saturday, we are hosting our Bruins, and they won their first 3 games of the Robertson Cup, so we have the playoffs here. Tickets are $5. I'd love to see Riverside Arena packed. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Denver. Appreciate those comments. Thank you. Craig, reports, recommendations.
Yes, we had one of our speaker series with Impact Austin again today. These are the ones that council helped facilitate. We have 2 more left, May 8th from noon to 1 and May 10th from noon to 1, so I would encourage you to participate in those. Those are insightful. If you weren't able to join us when those were aired live, you certainly can look at those as we recorded them for your viewing at your leisure. Otherwise, Stephen Lang has an item.
Stephen.
Well, we moved right from winter into road construction season today, and that has started. Mitch's program that has been presented to all of you for the last couple months got going with First Street Northwest by 1910 Wells Fargo. That was closed down today. 10th Avenue and 2nd Street Southwest, kind of down by the wastewater treatment plant. That'll be closed and construction will begin on Wednesday. And then 19th Drive and 7th Avenue Northeast, kind of over by the airport. That is planned to start next week or soon thereafter. So getting started on the street reconstruction projects.
And Stephen, a resident asked me about where we have 6 residential projects this year. They want to know when they were going to start. I just said the city would give you good notice. Is there a list of what neighborhoods are going in order?
Yeah, Mitch has a whole schedule put together in hopes that that's how things will pan out, but they can sure call the engineering department. We can give them a timeline of when we think it's going to start. We work closely with the contractors if things need to move forward or move back, but we also send out a letter about a week ahead of time, or we hand deliver a letter about a week ahead of time to give property owners notice that we're coming.
Very good. Thank you. Council, let's go with Joyce. Anything to report?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for the birthday wishes. That was incredible. And congratulations to Alice Hanson on her retirement, and to Josh Kunze and Matt Wise for their promotions. I'm also excited about the AAPI Proclamation Month, May, and Common Chords Week. And I just want to speak a minute about the noise barrier again. I just, as the mayor said, you can really see how council works in things like this. And I just really hope that this does not cause any division amongst the neighbors there. It's benefiting really everybody and their property values. So that's just my hope for everybody in that neighborhood. And that's it.
Thank you, Joyce. Paul?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Jason?
A couple things. First of all, just want to congratulate Dave and the Park and Rec team for a really, really well done master plan event a couple weeks ago. I thought it was an outstanding opportunity for people to go out and kind of have their voice heard. And I think as we put together plans like this, because money doesn't grow on trees, we've always got to prioritize, and it was a really good opportunity to have members of the community helping us prioritize in terms of this is what we truly want and what we find important. So really, really well done. I thought it was a very good event. Then second, had the opportunity for my day job to represent the Spam brand in Hawaii this past weekend for Spam Jam, and want to compliment Saville and Nancy Schnabel and the Discover Austin group and all the work they do to promote our community. 25,000 plus people, Hawaii's largest street festival dedicated to Spam, and the number of people who had heard of Austin, Minnesota, who were passionate about Austin, Minnesota, who had been to Austin, Minnesota, or wanted to come to Austin, Minnesota was just incredible. And so, just a global, really national kind of impact that we have. And so the work that you guys do to promote our community is absolutely recognized and understood outside our borders, and thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Jason. Jeff?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Jeff?
Big Dave Merrill sent me a couple recommendations on some emerald ash borer treatment professionals. Had one of them over at my house, and it's actually kind of a cool thing to do. The guys are pretty optimistic. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm glad I'm not involved. Just a little word of warning, the cost is based on the circumference of your tree, and so, Jason, money may not grow on trees, but it takes money to grow leaves on trees, evidently. It's a good deal. If you have a question or you have an ash tree that you want to save, Dave can get you some solid names, so thank you. That's it.
Thanks, Jeff. Mike?
couple things, a little eclectic, so bear with me. I noticed that the street crews started this morning because as I made my way to the new Morning Star Adult Daycare Center open house, which congrats to them, I saw a crane with a gigantic wrecking ball just dropping it on the street over and over for about 4 hours this morning. I was like, somebody is getting paid a lot of money to do that. That looks really cool. So for all of the kids out there who are thinking about going into the trades, highly recommend it. You get to play with wrecking balls. The Riverland and HRA home that we have been building this year has an open house this Thursday from 4 to 6. It's located in the 900 block at 24th Ave Northwest, so go check it out. It will be for sale soon, and we would love to have yet another homeowner in Austin. And kudos to the Discover Austin team in partnership with Life Mauer County for hosting what I believe is Austin's first beer festival. It was not just a beer festival, it was a beer, bacon, and beignet festival. Almost 300 people at that event, including a lot of folks I could tell were not from town. We're in Packer Arena, enjoying our breweries, enjoying the food trucks. It was an awesome event, so kudos to them. I look forward to next year.
Excellent. Thanks, Mike. Laura?
Just want to mention Fourth Avenue Fest is coming up on Wednesday, June 7th. You can find out more about it on the city website. And Jason touched on the public parks input event out at the Nature Center. And I want to second that and say that I was very impressed with the turnout. And more than that, I was very impressed with the diverse turnout. It wasn't the same old 20 people that you see at every city thing. There were a lot of new faces there. And so that's a big accomplishment for Parks, Recreation, and Forestry. And there is ongoing survey opportunities, right, Dave? So if people didn't get to go to that meeting, if they wanted to give their input on what are their priorities for parks and strategies and so forth, you can find that on the website as well. When does that close?
Probably the end of the month.
All right, end of May. You got plenty of time.
And Laura, it wasn't lost on me that the cane ball people stacked the deck out there.
Absolutely.
They came in mass. I know what cane ball is. I thought when you were over 80 and you had a cane, you could play some kind of ball. But it's, I still don't really know what it is, but they obviously stacked the chips in that cup. And just to be fair to some of the people who didn't get a lot of tickets, I took some out and I put them in cups that.
You did
Yeah,
not.
I thought it was the right thing to do. So the cane ball people are in competition directly with the pickleball people. This is gonna get ugly.
It's a very Sharks and Jets situation going on here.
One thing I'd like to highlight is we did say goodbye to a great community leader of the last 10 years, Dr. Nuga out at Riverland. That going away party and open house was last Friday. He will absolutely be missed. He was not just the president of Riverland, he was an absolute dynamo in the community. So we're gonna miss him. And on his way out, I did say, and council's gotta approve this, that we're gonna rename Riverland Nuga U. So if we're on board with Nuga U, we can get some t-shirts printed up and get the signage changed, so. Anyway, we're gonna miss him. We wish him the best in his retirement, so. If that's